when you are coming to actually start, if you want to get access to finance, if you're in a business and you want to get access to finance, there are some things you have to do before you can get access to finance. And I will quickly go over some of them. First of all, you must keep good records. Without good records, who will give you money? So good records here means you have your incorporation documents in order, you have your financial records in order, and everything. All your records are in order. Sometimes you meet companies come to you that you have to help them to source for funding. Then when you ask them, they don't have the records. It's not that you have to go and try and create a profit and loss account for them and all that. Somebody, a little girl in my house is impossible. Okay. Now, another thing too, that when you want to get access to financing, you have to structure your business in the right form. And that is what we mean by set up the right form of business organization that can grant you easy access to financing. A lot of people, because of ease of doing something, then when they start a business, then it is sole proprietorship. When you do that's one-man business, sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is good. But if you want to progress and get access to financing and do well, then you must actually focus on what? Limited liability company. You must register your business as a limited. Then it grants you can issue shares, you can borrow, you can do so many things. So all of these things are things you need to do before you can get easy access to financing. And then, of course, if you have kept good financial records, let them also do an audit. You have an audit report. Because you see, when an audit report gives confidence to outsiders that, this company is doing well. They have audited accounts. At least the auditors have come to look in their books. It's not what they have presented, but auditors have come to look in their books. So all of these are very important if you want to access financing. And then, of course, professional advice, seeking professional advice. Ghanaian businesses don't like to seek professional advice. And then, of course, these days, there are a lot of business associations everywhere. So join one. Because that is where you are going to get information. Information is key. And a lot of these, development partners and government, they give funds through these business associations. So that is some of the things you have to do. Okay, so from what I have talked about, let me quickly just, I have about 3 slides to go, so let me quickly finish it. These are some of the things that you can, government gives a lot of assistance to a lot of SMEs in Ghana. If you go to National Board for Small Scale, industries, you have a lot of information about that. Maslock too is there. One district, one factory. Other districts, district assistance program. When you go to the district too, they have programs that they help to assist businesses. All of these are available to us. And then, of course, development partners also, sometimes they offer loans and grants. So all of these things are available. But the truth of the matter is that if you look at this is just something about 3 to 5 years ago, but it still tells the picture. You can see that equity capital is rare. Equity capital. Having equity capital is rare. Only these institutions were the only one. The venture capital and then the growth in. They are the only one who are operating in this space. Most of it is about credit lines. But even that, access, these are Ghanaian ones. EDIF, EXIM is now part of Ghana. Then we have the development partners. So you see, this is what we have. But the conclusion of this, from all of this, the lesson that we can learn from this is that SME finance programs in Ghana have failed to meet expectation. Funds made available by government and donors are often not fully utilized. The second point I want to make is that SMEs who access funds from government, SMEs who seek financial support from government, at the end of the day, they don't want to pay. Even when they will pay, they will delay, and most of the time, they don't pay. So the fund, most of the time, runs out, and there's nothing left to continue this kind of program. So as a result, seeking government funding is not also reliable. The last part of my slides. I think this is the last but one. There are other ways of actually getting source of financing. Some of it is issuing shares. It can be done privately. That is, if you have a limited liability organization, you can issue shares to your friends and whoever, family members or whatever. And if you are a big company too, you can go and list at the Ghana Stock Exchange to get funds, equity funds. You can also borrow the same way. You can also borrow by borrow from the public or private placement. If you borrow from the public, you can register it at the Ghana Stock Exchange. So all of these are available. You can also get what we call angel investors. Angel investors are individuals who have the money, but they want good ideas for them to invest in to help you. But a lot of people don't even know that they exist. That's angel investors. And then, of course, venture capital. They finance startup businesses. In Ghana, we have a challenge with venture capital because, most of the funds have actually run out. But, of course, it is still available. And then we have private equity, which is, they invest directly in, companies that are doing well. That's private equity. And then these days, there's also what we call crowdfunding. So when you have good ideas and it is introduced, sometimes it's on the, on the website or whatever. Then there's a platform that people contribute small money. This one, 5 cedis, 10 cedis. Before you realize, because it is being done in volumes, you see that you have enough funding to do whatever business you want to do. So that is the new way to go, crowdfunding. Having said that, I will conclude. This is the last slide. And I will say that financing plays a key role in every successful business. Without it, you are going nowhere. And there's a general consensus for future financing intervention to extend access to alternative products to address other financial needs, such as leasing, insurance, equity funding, and all that. Most of the borrowing that we have gone through all the years is all about borrowing from a bank, borrowing from these small financial institutions and all that. It doesn't help us. Private equity, yes, it's good, but it is mostly needed by growth-oriented businesses in Ghana, and it's virtually non-existent. The last point here is that there's therefore the need for a more selective and focused strategic approach in designing new and alternative financing schemes in Ghana so that companies can get access or simple organizations, startup organizations can go there, startup organizations can go there. Firms that need financing can go there, and that is what we need right now. I think I'll rest my case.
Thank you, Mr. Atobans. I know we have a lot of questions people are writing, but shortly we will we'll take all the questions later on. So for now, we are going to invite Madam Charity. So you take the questions afterwards. Yes. So okay. To say please come. About Madam Charity. She's an entrepreneur specialized in food processing and packaging, a women's empowerment advocate, and the founder and CEO of Mainland Foods, established in 2006. She's been in the entrepreneurship space. She's been doing some great work. So please, Madam Charity, please take your turn. You have.
Good afternoon.
We can't hear you.
Hello. Is it working now? Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm supposed to be talking about leadership. Leadership has been defined as the art of governing people, or a group of people, or an organization. So wherever you find yourself, from my little government class in SS1, wherever you find yourself, there should be a government. Even at home, whenever 2 or 3 people decide that we want to be together for a cause, then there should be some kind of leadership to steer the affairs of the group. This normally comes in when an individual has an idea and want to start a business. Once you start a business and become an entrepreneur, then definitely you have become a leader. Because in the beginning, everything is in your head. Whichever people you choose to start working with, you have to explain to them, let them understand the vision and where you want to go with the idea that you have. So you would definitely then become a leader. At some point, you can decide to give that position to somebody else to take care if you think that you are not in a good place to continue steering the affairs of the organization. But once it starts, then you have to actually explain and let the people that are following you understand where you want to go with the idea that you have. Once this is established, then you have to lead by example. You have to be part of the whole process. When you start a business, one thing I learned is that you have to work in it and give yourself timelines to say, okay, at this point, in a year, or in 2 years, in 3 years, I have to be able to stand aside and the business run on its own. So you work in it, make all the decisions, take all the steps that you need to take, and then you learn the ropes. Even though you have an idea, how to run it won't come to you like that. You would have to make your mistakes as you go along. And in making the mistakes, you correct it. When you correct those mistakes, that is when you are trying to put systems in place for the business. So let's say you have Auntie Mansa supplying you, but you just call Auntie Mansa, or you go to Auntie Mansa and you pick up stuff from Auntie Mansa and bring. At some point, you may want to think that Auntie Mansa will supply everything. Say, I want 100 bags of this. But there should be a system in place. You cannot work, when it is a business, then you cannot work solely on trust. There should be a system in place to check that I asked for 100 and 100 has come. So that's when you have to start thinking, okay, maybe we make a requisition first, or we create an LPO, make a requisition, and then we make payment, and then the thing is supplied. At the point of delivery, receiving, then you check to see whether she actually supplied 100 and it's of the quality that you asked for. So that is a system. You can make certain mistakes along the way, but it is fair that this is also new to you, even though you have the idea. It is also new to you, so you learn and put a system in place. Once you make the mistake and you try to solve it, that becomes the system. Or you can say adopt it, look for other ways of how other companies are doing it, and apply it and see if it fits into your organization. You'll be working with people. How do you carry them along the way? You have to be willing to train. One of the reasons why places like Nestle, organizations like Nestle and Unilever like to poach graduates from school is that they don't have a certain culture. They haven't learned anything from anywhere. So they catch them young and give them their specific training. It's like training your child at home. After 10 years, he has passed his formative age. You cannot now tell him, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. It has to start very early in life. So you tell them, in my house, you don't finish eating and you leave your plate somewhere or come and dump it there. You wash it. Even if you don't wash it well, it's enough. I'll come and do the rest and later show you how to do it right. So they catch them young. If you have people following you, people working with you, you must be willing to train and tell them what you want done. That way you develop a culture for the organization. The training will also apply to you personally because we say that the only constant thing in life is change. Things are changing very fast with the advent of the internet, social media, and all of that. When Nokia was going off, their leader said that they didn't do anything wrong, but they have had to. But definitely they did something wrong. When people were changing from one to the other, they thought that, okay, we can still go on with durability and blah, 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 but it didn't work for them anymore. So you have to be willing to get training for yourself and learn the changing scenes of life and time so that you come abreast with how things are being developed, how people want their things, how you can solve problems for people. Because business or having a business is solving problems for people. If you don't have anything that solves my problem, I don't think I'll come to you buying, whether it's a product, service, or whatever. You have to have something I am going to spend my money on. Wrap up. Okay. Sure. And then we come to delegation. Most times, for young entrepreneurs, we cannot move out of our business. But I tell you what, if your business cannot run without you, then you are only self-employed. You are not an entrepreneur yet. You have to be able to go and the business run behind you. If you have trained them well, then you will know the strength of each person that you are working with and leave certain parts of the business to this person or that person A or person B. So you delegate, you go, and you have them make the mistakes, you come and correct it, and then you move on. That is how you learn practically. Finally, I would like to talk about consequences. When you delegate a certain work to an employee, there should be consequences for whatever action they take. If it is good, you appreciate. It doesn't always have to be money. There are so many ways of appreciating people. If it is bad, they have to pay for it. If people do the wrong thing and you let it go, it only says that I can do it again. But if they suffer for it, then it means that it will stop because nobody wants to suffer for anything. In my place, sometimes I would have to take some of your salary or put you on, suspension for some time without salary. So that's how you encourage people to work hard. So that the ones that do the good feel like, okay, if I do this, this is what I get for being good. And then communication. It's all in your head as an entrepreneur. It's all in your head. Sometimes it's so much in your head that you would think that they should know or I've told them. But you have to really make a conscious effort to let them understand. So you don't always have to bring everybody together. You can have groups. You can have 3 or 4 people that you communicate to who can also go to their level, the last people's level, and explain things to them. Communication is very key. If you have a very good communication system in your organization, then you are flying high into the skies. Thank you very much. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Let's do it better for her. Thank you. I hope you are noting down your questions. So when we open the window for questions, you'll be able to put your questions across. And I'm sure she'll be able to give you good answers. The next presentation we'll have is from Dinah Osei. She is an award-winning writer and acclaimed public speaker who has about 6 years in technology for development space, bringing innovative digital solutions to students and small business owners in Ghana. Auntie Dinah, please, you are welcome.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dinah Osei, and I'm here to talk to you about the design thinking process and how that can help you make your business very successful. So, a young entrepreneur. I went through the MEST Africa Software Entrepreneurship Training Program and graduated in August 2019. And
Hello?
I started a
Hello?
fintech company right after that. Oh, sit. Okay. Hello again. So, as I was saying, a brand new young entrepreneur who started her company in August 2019 after graduating from the MEST Africa Software Entrepreneurship Training Program. And that's where I found my co-founders. And we did market research throughout the training for about 12 months to be able to come up with our company, which is a fintech company. Our solution is a digital savings platform for the informal sector. And we believe we were quite successful because we did our market research well and came up with a product that people want to use. So I'm going to share the process we went through to come up with this solution, and then you see that it's something you can also apply to your business. It's called the design thinking process. So I'll start with a quote about what design thinking actually means. It says, most people make the mistake of thinking design is what it looks like. People think it is veneer, that the designers are handed this box and told, make it look good. That's not what we think design is. It's not just what it looks like or how it feels. Design is how it works. So the design thinking process helps you to come up with a solution that works for the user, not necessarily a solution that looks good or beautiful. You focus on functionality first, and then later you can make it look very beautiful. So by definition, the design thinking process is a set of methodologies or approaches based on user-centered design principles to help you solve a problem. The steps involved in design thinking are empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. There are 5 steps: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So the first step is empathize. As an entrepreneur, you've identified a problem that you want to solve. And so you need to empathize with the people who are facing this problem. In our case, we realize that people in the informal sector have challenges getting access to credit. So in order to empathize with them, we approached a couple of them. Throughout our market research period, it was about 300 in number, and asked them a series of questions to understand the challenges they are facing, why it's difficult for them to get access to credit to grow their businesses. That was the empathy phase. And we used questionnaires to do this and face-to-face interviews. And then the feedback that kept coming up was that the reason they are unable to get access to credit is because they do not have the needed collateral or guarantor to give the bank that credibility to trust a loan with them. And so our challenge was to come up with a way to help people in the informal sector to easily get access to credit. The next stage we went to in the design thinking process was define. After we've interviewed a lot of market women, trotro drivers, to find out why they have difficulty getting access to credit, we had to put this in a problem statement format. In design thinking, it's called the point of view statement. The point of view allows you to see the problem from the user's perspective. And the point of view is written in 3 steps. The user plus what they need plus their insights equals the problem statement. So in our case, the user is somebody in the informal sector. So we took a market woman. The market woman needs, what do they need? Access to credit. Why? Because they do not have collateral or guarantor. And also because they want flexible payment terms and not high interest rates. That was our problem statement, which we used to come up with our solution. The third step in the design thinking process is ideate. Once you have this problem statement, you brainstorm possible solutions to the problem. So in our case, one way we could help people in the informal sector get access to credit is to maybe give them a solution that works on a mobile platform, or to create a bank that is just targeted for people in the informal sector that will address all their needs. So those are possible solutions to that problem. But is it the best solution? To be able to come up with the best solution that will meet their needs, the next step is to prototype. That's step 4 in the design thinking process. So we came up with a lot of prototypes that we sent to the market women for them to test and give us feedback. So we understood from our market research that they save in susu boxes, sometimes with a group of friends, something they call group susu, or they put their money under their mattress. And that's how they were getting access to credit. So we designed a poster with a susu box and then a mobile phone next to it to show that before you were using a susu box, now you can do your savings on a mobile phone. And that will help you to create the credit history that banks look for to help you get access to credit. Because how you're saving right now currently with your savings group, pulling funds together and then giving it to one person, and pulling funds together and giving it to the next person, it's not always sufficient for you to meet your credit needs. So you eventually need a bank to help you to get large sums of money as you grow your business. So we're trying to sell them the idea of saving digitally on a mobile phone. And we put out that poster as a prototype and showed it to them and asked them, what do you think about this? And then they gave us feedback, about this mobile phone thing, we don't understand it, how will it work? So we gathered a lot of feedback over the course of our market research, and we were testing it. Thank you. So the last stage in the design process is testing. So after testing this poster with a lot of market women, we're able to come up with a final design that we think will work for the market, and that is what we launched with. At the moment, we're still developing the product, from the software point of view to make sure it's integrated with mobile money platforms, and then we have bank partners who are going to keep our customer funds and generate interest for them and give them all the value that they need to grow their business from a financial point of view. So that's the story of Vision Money. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Diana. It's time for questions. And for those who have noted their questions, and we'll give you opportunity to ask questions, but please let the questions be brief because we may not have time to answer every question if the questions are long and winding and numerous. Okay. So I want to start with the questions. And to let you know that Mr. Atobans was my lecturer. He taught me investment analysis. And so he's very experienced. So I want to ask Mr. Atobans that is business success predictable?
Hello. Okay, the question is business success predictable? I would say it's yes. When you talk to the owner, you can, if you, because I've worked as a consultant, when you talk to the owner, you are able to know what he thinks, his vision, his strategy, and the way he's managing the company. You can easily tell. Of course, there are, it doesn't mean that it's 100%, but it is mostly predictable from the way you talk to, the way when you talk to the owner, you will be able to know whether his business will be successful or not.
Okay, so there is a saying in Korea that accidents do not happen, they are caused. So when I was coming up here, in the beginning, I played tennis, so I thought, I could easily do it. But I'm in heels, so I had to be cautious. I asked for a hand. I could have slipped if I hadn't taken that caution. If I didn't take the caution and I slipped, you would say it's an accident. But actually, my instincts were telling me, ask for help. And I did ask for help, and I got here safely. So if you, like he said, if you talk to the business owner and get a little bit of his mindset, you would know that this business is going somewhere or is not going anywhere.
You mentioned a couple of things: leadership, record keeping. Now, I did not see business plan in the conversation. And in finance, we need a lot of planning. We need a lot of figures. We need a lot of analysis. So if I'm going to have a successful business, I did not put any plan together. As you mentioned, everything is in my head. Then I start the business, I start stumbling, and then I now come to put things together. Would that help me be successful?
No, not really. I think when I gave the characteristics of a successful business, the first one was leadership. But I knew that Madam is going to talk about leadership, so I didn't go into details of leadership. But leadership entails not just the vision, but the strategy, the development of a business plan. The strategy must be put in paper so that everybody can buy into it and all that. So it's all part of the leadership that I was talking about. Do you have something else to add?
I think that, what was the question, the last bit you said? The business plan. I think that if you don't have the business plan right from the beginning and you get it along the way, you'll still be successful. It is very, very sure. Let me give you an example. I started, it was like a hobby or something to just support my national service allowance. And then along the line, it was booming, so I had to really do it well. But I couldn't leave my accountancy job. I went on and on and on. Finally, when I had the courage to quit, I went for training, a boot camp with Cosmos Innovation Center. By the time I came back from the first boot camp, I tell you what, if I explain my business to you, you put your money down for me. And we were looking for investment then. Apparently, my husband had the money, but he couldn't understand what I was saying. Because I said in a menu, when I I came back and I did my business plan, and I'm a very creative person, so I did it with sketch, with airplanes and doing that is flying and all of that. He just gave me $75,000. By the time I went for the second boot camp, I had the money I wanted already. He was going to give me more. So it doesn't really matter. You have to learn along the way. Make your mistakes and learn out of it.
You see, you are an accountant. So it's a different situation.
Well, business is all about solving problems for people. All these terms that come in and out is just solving problem for people. If you don't have anything that people need, then you are not in business. That is why in a year there can be 10,000 businesses registered, but by close of year you may have just about 100 left. So you have to continually look for what people want. You may start and it's like people want this. Let me use a friend's business. She started doing palm nut concentrate. And with time, people were asking, "Oh, do you have something with turkey berry? Do you have something with this? You constantly have to look for what people are looking for. And that is what will bring you all the success that you need."
Yes, please. Okay, thank you for the question. Like I said, there are 5 steps. You do not need to go through professional training to be able to apply design thinking to your business. You can go online and Google design thinking. You can get videos on how it's been applied by a lot of big companies, like tech companies, to solve their problems, and then learn from that. So there are 5 steps: empathizing, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And you don't only go through this process when you have a business idea and haven't um, brought it out. You can already be in business and still use design thinking to solve challenges that you are facing at the moment in the business. For example, when you find out that a certain customer segment you're targeting are not buying your items, why have the students stopped buying the books? So that is a problem. You empathize. You get a few of the students and talk to them. Ask them why they are not using the books. What challenge? Maybe they don't like the way the book looks. There must be a reason. So you generate questions that you're going to ask them, and then based on what they say, you find out what their pain points are. Maybe the book is too heavy to go into their backpack. That's why they are not buying. And then you define. That's when you come up with a statement. You always need that statement, like a research question or a hypothesis that guides your brainstorming of solutions. When you define the problem that your user is facing based on the questions you've asked them, then you can ideate and come up with possible solutions. Maybe instead of publishing textbooks for them, you can think of e-books that they'll be able to accept easily. And how would they access this ebook? Are they allowed to take devices to school, or we should sell the ebook to the proprietor so that during computer lab hours they will have access to it? That's ideating, coming up with possible ways to give them the content of that book without it being a physical book. And then you prototype these ideas based on what you came up with. And then again, you take the prototype back to them and test it with a couple of students. You could use a focus group of students or one-on-one or so many means of testing the solution. And then you get feedback. The basic thing is that you have to get feedback from them to know if you're on the right track. And then at the end of the day, you have your solution that works. And that's how you'll be able to solve day-to-day problems in your company. Just identify the problem and go through these steps: empathizing, defining, ideates, prototyping, and testing. And you'll be able to always serve your customer needs and be successful. Thank you.
I want to have a follow-up question. So at which point do you validate your business idea? Or do you have to go through the whole process of design thinking?
Thank you for the question. Your idea is validated when people start paying you for it. So if they are willing to dig into their pocket and give you money, and it means that you solve their problems, they'll keep buying from you. That's when you have validation. Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, I am a writer of books. What I normally do is that by the same method, I go to the class and ask the problem of the students, and I research and write the book. Even when it comes to the title of the book, through your method, I give about 3 titles. And the one that the student will say, this is a good title. When I send to the market, it works. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
In your final conclusion, you
Okay.
made mention of...
Please, we are going to take like 3 questions,
Okay.
and then they will answer. So please, can we see the hands of those who want to ask questions? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, after that, they'll answer, yes.
You said SMEs have failed to meet expectation. But I also know that in Ghana, mostly in the rural areas, it's SMEs that help market farmers, agribusinesses, and the rest, small, medium enterprises to flourish. So if you can throw more light on that, I don't get that.
Okay, so the next person.
Okay, Madam raised a point on emotional intelligence. So I didn't get much of the information on that when the question was asked. So I want it more light to be thrown on it so that we understand.
Thank you very much. Madam, you said you are an accountant. And are you still practicing the accountant? And okay. And please, can you please once again mention the name of the camp that you attended? The business camp. No, I'm talking about the business camp. Is it a business camp or a business boot? Yes, yeah, the boot camp. KIC. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Then,
Okay.
Madam Moderator, my plea is that after their last words, they should please give us their numbers, contact numbers. They should please mention them slowly. Don't rush. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have the first question on small businesses group.
Yeah, I made mention of the fact that small businesses have not lived up to expectation, and you're asking why. If you look critically in Ghana, it will amaze you that how many businesses have started from small and they have gone to medium and they have come large. A little girl, like I said, we say impossible, almost negligible. When what do you call it? Businesses are set up and then they start getting money. I'm talking about the Ghanaian, and they start getting money, and now they can pay their children's school fees. They can send their children to US or whatever to go to school and all that. Shop close. They are not motivated to overextend themselves to make sure that they are not doing it for their family alone, but it is that is the problem. That is what we call so there's an inertia that is actually preventing a lot of what they call businesses from attaining their potential. That's why I said that SMEs have not lived up to expectation. That's the reason.
Thank you. The second person will want more light thrown on design thinking.
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Okay.
But let me make an attempt. When we talk about emotional intelligence, we are talking about what they call it, what I would call intuitive ability to be able to do things. You can't hear? Yeah, okay. I'm talking about the intuitive ability to do things. You know, sometimes you know that, no, this thing is not right. Though you might not have, you don't have any evidence to prove that. And that one can be developed. That is what I think they were talking about.
Okay. Are you okay? Have you gotten here? Okay. So please, do we have more questions? Okay, we'll give you the contact.
There should be functionality before beauty. If you can clarify that.
Okay, thank you. His question is, I mentioned that in the design thinking process, you should focus on functionality and not how beautiful the item is. So you'd like me to expand on that. Thank you. So what example can I use? For example, you're a carpenter. You want to design a chair. You know, your customer needs furniture, in their home. So that is your problem, and your solution as a carpenter is to provide that furniture. So first of all, you want to make sure that you're using the right material to make that furniture, and that the furniture is going to meet the purpose that the customer wants. Maybe they want to sit on it. No, that's not. Let me use a table. They want a table that they can use in their music studio, and is going to house several screens, and there's a place for a monitor, and so many things need to be on the table. So design a table that I can use in my music studio. That is the problem. So you have to focus on functionality, because the table needs to have all the requirements that the user wants. So it's not just a normal table with a flat surface that you'll be designing. By speaking with the customer, you understand exactly what that table is supposed to do for them, so that you can really design a table that will suit their needs, that will not break in, after 6 months. You use quality material because the items going to be put on the table are heavy or something. So that's what I mean by functionality. The solution is to do that. Then later, you can think of how to color the table green, yellow, or white based on the user's brand or colors and all that. So that's what I meant. That's an example. Thank you.
That's normally the difference between buying a machinery. That's from my experience. Buying a machinery from China and buying it from Europe. There is no way you contact an European company and say, I want this machine, and immediately you get a price. They are always looking for functionality. I have bought machines from China. Some have become white elephants. They are sitting there. I've bought some from Europe. I used it till I needed a bigger one and put it somewhere or sold it to somebody who needed it. Because it was always based on what are you going to use it for? How much space do you have? How long and da. It's expensive, but at the end of the day, you see that it is value for money. It is user-friendly. You have some peace of mind in using the machine.
Yes. You spoke about organizational culture, developing organizational culture in a business. How do we sustain it? Looking at the dynamics. Because culture is dynamic. Yeah, so how do you sustain that?
So I said during my presentation that the only constant thing is change. If you have people around who normally say, oh, saana yeyeno, saana yeyeno, those people need to go. It's either they need to go or need to be reoriented. If they are teachable and accept training and accept to change, then good for you. But if there are people that you teach and they still want to go back to their old ways and do it as it was done, then definitely they need to go. As an entrepreneur, hiring and firing shouldn't be a very difficult thing for you to do. You should always be willing to fire. Sometimes they will give you names. I know I have a lot of names at my workplace. They call me Tatiana. They call me Mameno. They call me, the last one I had, yeah, baby. They call me all sorts of names. I hear it, but I don't. And it has all come up because of something I wanted corrected, right? So if you do not train, or if you train and they still want to go to the old ways, then it's time for that person to go and a new one to come. There are people who have been very, very loyal to me, who their loyalty is fantastic. And it is difficult for those to let those people go. What do you do with those people? You have to come to terms with the fact that at some point, those people cannot move to the next step. So you create a small area for them to take care of that, and then you move along with the big ones. You don't put them aside because they can make and unmake you as well.
Okay. Please, I wanted to follow up with the question to any of you. The thing is that you mentioned boot camp. Somebody was excited. We talk about financial management. In Ghana, entrepreneurs do not like training. They are not willing to pay for it. They don't make themselves available. How would you advise an entrepreneur here to approach the issue of training? Because financial management needs training. Nobody was born with financial skills. And then leadership.
Okay, so there are so many avenues. Now, information is not that expensive because of social media. It's everywhere. So you just have to find the right places to go to. Like you said, we don't like training. Even when it is available to us. I went through SDF to get training for my employees. It was paid for. But you won't believe that some people take the money, or some people intentionally set things up to take the money and use it in other ways. Some people also are successful in, deceiving the system and getting the money. But when they get they have the right thinking, they actually want to do it. But once the money comes, then they want to do something else. I tell you what, after I did my training, I did for HACCP, hazard analysis, critical control points. After our first training for the first tranche of the money, I could hear even the people, the factory hands who did not even go to secondary school, saying some of the points. Sometimes they will correct one colleague, and I will hear them maybe challenging, no. Then they would now run to either a supervisor or to me and say that this is what this person is doing. And from what Mr. Nketia said or Doc said, we have to do this way. And that is perfect. That way you know you are moving. So please, take advantage. There are so many of them, especially the women. There are so many of them available. Some are virtual, and most of them, fortunately, are free. So please take advantage. It can't all be in your head. There are new things coming up each day, and you really need to learn.
And financial management.
Training is training. It's a very critical issue, whether it is financial management or any other. It's very critical. But like you said, if you don't have money, then training is not an option. Then you want, I do a lot of training for institutions in so many other things, financial management, all kinds of things, assessing risk and all that. But at the end of the day, you realize that when a company goes through financial difficulty, training is the first thing to go. And of course, it makes sense. So how do somebody who is starting a business or small business, how do they get training? The resources that you have to actually get, that's why I say that you must also associate with other,
association, trade associations.
Yes, sometimes some of these development, but they come and train them for free. Apart from that too, make sure you have registered with NBSSI, National Board for Small Scale Industry. Now it's going to become what we call entrepreneur center or whatever. So everything, including financing and everything, all these things we are talking about, financial management and all that, they will train you for free.
So my question is to Mr. Atu. How do you unlock the missing, let's say, finance for the missing middle?
Okay, he's asking how do we unlock the missing middle that I was talking about, that those in them, they don't get any financing. The fact is that I think I gave some options that we have to look at different ways of doing things. And some of the challenges that a lot of organizations they face, it's all because maybe they started with their business as a sole proprietorship. But the time comes, you must change it into limited liability, because when you do it as a limited liability, you can even employ hands. And one thing too that a lot of Ghanaians don't do, they don't partner. They want to, 100% this and all that. I keep on telling that my company, if somebody comes today, that I have this money, and then you can, why would I? Why would I carry all the burden?
Speaking.
Why would I carry all the burden of? So that is one thing that we don't do. And of course, I'm not alone. We are two partners, myself and Dr. Samensa. We, in any case, whatever it is, Ghanaians don't like to associate to do things. And that is also the problem that we have. They don't like coming together and establish the business. And the reason they say is that sometimes it can bring about issues, especially when money is coming into the business. But the fact is, those things can easily be checked when, you sign agreement right from the word go, so that everybody know what is entitled, whatever it is. But when you go, when we get money, when the money comes, I've seen a lot of organizations go bankrupt because of this.
Okay, so what you are saying is that we need to start with the right documentation.
Yes.
Everything is spelled out. Yeah. So when the business grows, it builds on it. Yeah. Not like you wait till money start coming, then you start.
What it is that when the money is small and you are sharing, there are no issues. When it becomes big, so my strength is more here than you. When the money is big, it becomes a different ball game. So it is always good to start with an agreement.
Okay, so we are taking the last
Thank you very, very much. Madam, you were introduced as a food processor. Can you please mention two of your products?
Okay, so I'm into egg packaging. That's my number one product. You can find it in any retail shop in Ghana, ShopRite Game, Kuala, Maxmart, Melcom, all of those. And then I also do cereals, which are soya based. So you can find our Tom Brown and corn grits all over. And then we do spices as well. We have a spice range.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much. We'll be taking final words from our presenters, and the focus is what is business success? How do I succeed in my business? What makes a successful business? So if you can give us your final words on what makes business successful.
Thank you very much. I would always say that be great at something. Wherever you find yourself, be great at something. Be known for something, right? My product sell, it's always in your face in the shop because our selling point has been how good it looks. In fact, I started a whole business because I walked into a shop, bought beans that was sorted. I thought the beans was good, but the packaging was terrible. That was how I said, okay, let me go and find out if they will give me an opportunity to supply them. And I did, and it started selling better than what they had in the shop. So they gave me more opportunities to go on. I am great at letting things look good. I am a very detailed person. I am a creative person. And if I had my own way, I'll be maybe making dresses, fashion stuff. But this is where I find myself. So I pour my creativity into the foods that I make. And my products look fantastic. That's one I'm not boasting. I know. So be great at something. Let your products be known for something. And people will come for it. Thank you.
Yeah. I will look at it from a finance perspective. That what do you call it? There are some people that when you talk to them, they have the ideas to do something, but they're there, it's not there. That means they don't have the money to support it. See, you don't need to do everything on your own. Sometimes you have the ideas, and somebody will have the money, and the two of you can partner to do something. And that is one area that we have not promoted so well in this country. I rest my case.
Thank you. So my final words about how to make your business successful. At any stage when you're having challenges in your business, either with your cash flow or your customers not buying, whatever the situation is, you can always use the design thinking process to solve it. And the steps are just 5. You empathize. You define the problem. You ideate, that's brainstorming solutions. You prototype, and then you test. And by collaborating with your customers to go through this process and getting real-time feedback from them about what they actually need, you'll be able to solve all your business problems and move towards success. Thank you.
Thank you.
hands off. Okay. I said I'm Atobans, and then unfortunately, I'm not on social media. So I will just have to give you my number as it is. 0244 27 28 and then 72. 27 28 72. Thank you.
Thank you. And I am Diana Osei, co-founder, chief marketing officer of Bezo Money, BEZO Money, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Our number is 020 512 0095. Again, 020 512 0095. Thank you. That number is on WhatsApp as well. Thank you.
Okay. So today we look at finance, and the focus has been on investment. How you can put in investment, how you can improve your business through financial management. We also look at the design thinking and then leadership. And this has been brought to you by the Educator program. Please do not forget to link up with this team and spread the word. They are doing a great job. And I want us to put our hands together for the team that has put this together. They have done extremely well. And we thank you, our presenters, as well. And thank you for listening. Thank you.